January. Awaken your creativity. The first of the 10 bodies starts the whole creative process of life. It's the soul. The Sanskrit word for soul is Atma. We'll explore the evolutionary process of the 10 bodies each month for the rest of this year in the format of a story with 12 chapters. This story is about Atma and how she travels through her yogi's journey to arrive back home more complete and healed because of this adventure. The story will also reveal the planetary influences and how they align with the 10 bodies. In other words, how the micro and macro, the alpha and the omega, play out in our lives. Our journey begins now with the first body, the soul. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Atma, the soul, was hanging out in the divine realm and noticed this familiar impulse which kept nagging at her. She knew that this impulse came when her soul wanted to express its unlimited creative potential in ever-expansive ways. She also knew that there's no place better to do this than on Earth, where the play of the polarities constantly offers opportunities for transformation. On Earth, where the light of her soul could attract 10 energetic bodies to support her to manifest her highest potential, and where she could learn how these bodies align with the planetary constellation of this solar system. She was a bit sad to leave this angelic realm and knew that as life on Earth would commence, all the impersonal lessons she had come here to learn would be so easy to interpret as personal mistakes. Since she has traveled to Earth many times before, she knew that the tricky part to life on Earth is to remember that we each create, all the time, either consciously or unconsciously. In the angelic realm where she now was, it was easy for Atma to remember that her soul's innate capacity and the nature of life is to create. To be a conscious co-creator this lifetime, she would have to live attuned to the light of her soul. She would have to create habits and a lifestyle which would help her stay aware of this connection all during her life. She would have to create a life which encourages her to be a self-sensory being who can hear the language of the light of the soul. A language which communicates by creating a gentle, energetic tug at the heart to lead her in the direction of her greatest transformation. She knows that this would look and feel like her most wonderful dreams come true, and that the honeymoon always would turn into a power struggle to allow her to now make a choice to either repeat what has been or to create something new. In other words, to be a co-creator. So Atma started preparing according to her energetic blueprint, which her subtle body had carried from lifetime to lifetime. This blueprint carries her gifts, challenges, destiny, karma, and path information, which she had gathered in all her lifetimes. She knew that the reason the light of her soul once again felt called to Earth was because she is part of the ongoing creative process of evolution. She very carefully picked her family and the stories which were carried generationally, the place where she would be born, her body type, her health tendencies, her lovers, and her haters. Once she secured the learning process, she bowed in humility, knowing that the greatest gift she would later have on Earth is for her to trust this evolutionary process of life, to trust that the light of her soul is the creative energy which keeps activating this process. So she would have to find a way in this new life to remember her connection to the light of her soul and the angelic realms of light, a way to remember that she is and will be part of the process of life and to not take anything personally. She promised herself to connect to a community which would help her to remember that we are each super important in how this evolutionary process unfolds. a community which views mistakes as opportunities for learning. The family she chooses has many lifestyle practices which would help her to stay connected to her soul. They are creative artists, have a clear intention for their family and their contribution to life. They eat a mostly plant-based diet and even practice silence once a week for an afternoon. They have a morning practice to align with and really see their vision for the future. They meditate and open the portal of the heart and practice feeling their intended life as if it had already happened. They do only that work during the day which aligns with this seeing and review every night how they did and then take time to celebrate the learning. They come from the heart and live grounded to earth and encourage their children's ability to stand alone and to have a good balance between dependence and independence. Atma felt very clear that this family would encourage her to do those awareness practices, such as yoga and meditation, to grant her the sensitivity to sense which action would take her down the old karma road and which action would align her with Dharma, the universal laws which hold all of creation. One expands, one contracts. One is scary, the other familiar. This family would encourage her to deeply listen to her biology, to sense which path had opened up for her, and then to support her to take a deep breath and choose to align with her soul's longing and release the familiar. Atma was very grateful to have found this family because not many people encourage this creative process of transformation because something new is fundamentally scary, as we have to let go of what we know and jump into the great unknown. This family would trust the connection with the soul because they knew that the soul is the net which will catch us when we lose our way and make sure that we're safe. They live in such a way to hear the soul speak to them in deep silence and to notice that fear speaks to us by what we react to. They give space during the day to tune into the soul as it leads us to an ever new expanding reality, and they are very observant of fear, which locks us into our past repetitive patterns of living. With an alive connection to the soul, Atma knows that her head could bow to her heart in true humility. With this attitude, she would be able to stay conscious to her soul's work. She knows that her soul will keep her attuned and keep her humble in the process. Her soul will give her the capacity to not take anything which happens personally and to see it for what it could be, a way to awaken to our creative capacity in evolving consciousness. So, on June 18th, 1959, Atma was born into a female body in a very loving and deeply spiritual family. And the journey will continue.